Hey, what is going on, guys? Thanks for checking out this video, my sports Gematria. In this video, I'm going to go over some NBA games for Thursday, November 18th, 2021. I'm going to just show you some highlights of each side, and it's going to be up to you to determine who you think will win based on the numbers. I encourage you to add additional information on top of this if needed for you to feel confident in your own pick. And if for some reason you're curious to know who I'm picking these games, you have to join my Patreon. My picks are always in writing, underlined, and italicized. For more information on that, please read the description of this video. I wish you guys the best of luck in your picks today. Let's go ahead and get into the games. We're going to be looking at the Warriors versus the Cavs, Wizards and Heat, Clippers and Grizzlies, Spurs and the Wolves, Sixers and Nuggets, Raptors and the Jazz. 6 games on the board. On this side of the screen, I have what I call my daily numbers, date numerology, Gregorian Hebrew calendar. And then on this side of the screen is what I call my game numbers. The way that it's structured is I have the away team up top, their coach's record, their season record, any additional information I want to add to that. In the middle is the head-to-head records between the two teams. And then at the bottom is the home team, their season record, their coach's record, and any other notes that I want to add. So I'm just going to go through each of these games. I'm not going to spend too much time on them. I'm just going to go over some things that I have highlighted and for both sides, and hopefully this video won't be too long. So let's start with the Warriors and the Cavs. I'm gonna look at the Cavs. So Cavs first, and then we're gonna look at the Warriors. So if Cavs are gonna win this game, one thing that would play in their favor is the number 10. Cavs could get their 10th win for the season, and their coach is 100th game regular season as a coach for the Cavs. 100 has a square root of 10, mathematically speaking. And the Cavs would become 1-0, like 10, head-to-head against the Warriors. Today does have 70 date numerology on the Gregorian. If you spell out 70, it sums to 29, the 10th prime number, as well as 79. And Cavaliers can sit on 79 regular season, or excuse me, 79 all-time head-to-head losses against Warriors with a win. Today is, today has 16 date numerology on the Gregorian as well. And the Cavs can get their 53rd regular season head-to-head win against the Warriors to go with 53, the 16th prime number. So those are some numbers for the Cavs. For the Warriors, I would base it on possibly the 64. Cavs, their coach, with the loss, can get his 64th as a coach for Cavs. And 64 sums to 50, and today has 50 date numerology on the Gregorian. Warriors would get their 65th. They would go from 64 to 65 regular season head-to-head wins against the Cavs to go with. And 65 also sums to 50. And then it also sums to 139. 139 is the 34th prime number. There's 34 and 50 date numerology on the Gregorian, as well as it being the 139th all-time head-to-head matchup between these two teams. That 65 and 64 can play in the favor for the Warriors. Cavaliers, they can sit on 9 wins for the season in their 9th home game as they become 4-5 for a home record like 45. And the number 45 is the 9th triangular number. And the Warriors, they would get their 13th win for the season. Speaking of 9s, they sum to 99 and 45. And so that would be some numbers for the Warriors to win this game. Let's go on to the next game, Wizards and the Heat. So if Heat were going to win this game, we'll start with the home team. If the Heat were going to win this game, we might look towards it being 34 date numerology on the Gregorian. 34 sums to 61. Heat could become 6-1, like 61 at home for the season with the win. Today leaving 43 left in the Gregorian year, 43, 34, just reflections of each other. Heat can sit on 43 all-time head-to-head losses, as well as 43 head-to-head regular season losses with a win. Today on the Hebrew Religious, there's 105 date numerology, and the Wizards can become 10-5, like 105, for a season record with the loss. One thing to keep in mind for this game is both these teams played yesterday. The Heat played yesterday and won. The Wizards played yesterday and lost. And both these teams will play each other again on Saturday. They're playing a back-to-back, so keep that in mind when you're looking at this game, to look at possibly date numerology for Saturday to see if anything lines up. But I'm not going to spend too much time on these games just because there's 6 of them and I don't want to make this a long video. But some numbers for the Wizards to win this game would be 16th game for the Heat, 16 date numerology on the Gregorian. Wizards can become 5-3, like 53 on the road with the win. 53, the 16th prime number. It's the 16th game for the Heat, 7th home game, 167. Their coach can sit on 617 regular season wins for his career, 617, 167. Maybe there's just an anagram similarity there that keeps him on that 617. The Wizards, they would sit on 89 regular season head-to-head losses against the Heat with the win, as they get their 11th win for the season. 89 mathematically is the 11th Fibonacci number, so that would play in the favor for Wizards on that end. But either one of these teams can get their 11th win for the season. But not a whole lot here. Just kind of a few notes on that game. Clippers and Grizzlies. Similar to... well, we'll get into it. We'll start with the Grizzlies. If the Grizzlies were going to win this game, we would just assume that 16 date numerology. 16 sums to 96. Clippers can lose and become 9-6, like 96, for a season record with a loss. Today with 50 date numerology on the Gregorian, Grizzlies can get their 47th regular season head-to-head win against the Clippers. 47 sums to 50. 47 also sums to 149. And it'll be the 14th day of the 9th month on the Hebrew Religious, like 149. I'm going to go ahead and mark that purple instead of gray. And the Grizzlies, they can get their 8th win for the season as their coach becomes 80-80, which just has looked like an 8 and an 8 for a regular season record with the win. 87 is what they would become. Grizzlies 8-7, like 87 with the win for a season record. 87 sums to 139, the 34th prime number. And today has 34 date numerology on the Gregorian. So those are some numbers for the Grizzlies. Also 87 sums to 58. And they would sit on 58 all-time head-to-head losses against the Clippers with the win as they become 8-7. Some numbers for the Clippers to win this game would be 50 date numerology. Clippers can become 3-2 for a season record on the road, like 32. 32 sums to 50. The number 50 sums to 30. Clippers coach can sit on 113 regular season losses, the 30th prime number, as he sits on 30 regular season losses as a coach specifically for Clippers. He would also get his 57th win as a coach for Clippers, and 57 is sums to 131, the 32nd prime number. They could become 3-2 on the road, like 32. It also sums to 50, as well as 139, the 34th prime number. Today with 34 and 50 date numerology on the Gregorian. Clippers, they could become 10-5 for a season record with the win, like 105. Date numerology of 105 on the Hebrew Religious. I was going to say earlier, same thing, similar could happen to the Wizards. They could be 105. Clippers can go 105 today with the 105 date numerology. The Grizzlies, they could become 7-8 for a season record with the loss. This is their 15th game as well as their 9th home game, like 159. And the number 78 sums to 159. So those would be some numbers that would favor Clippers if the Clippers were to win. Alright, let's keep it going. Spurs and Timberwolves. So looking at the Timberwolves first, for them to win this game, it could be the 6 and the 9. If they become 69 for a season record with the win, 69 sums to 50, as well as 139, the 34th prime number. Today with 34 and 50 date numerology on the Gregorian, Timberwolves could become 6 and 9, like 69, which sums to 139 and 50. Timberwolves coach, he would sit on 34 regular season losses with the win, as the Timberwolves get their 34th regular season head-to-head win against the Spurs. So it would be a pretty good 34 pattern in favor of Timberwolves if they were to win this game. It's the Timberwolves coach's 56th regular season game, and actually I think I already have it written out, obviously. The number 34 sums to 56. So in his 56th game, potentially, he can sit on 34 losses with a win. Today with 34 date numerology, 34 sums to 56. Then they can get their 34th regular season head-to-head win against the Spurs to go with, becoming 6 and 9 for a season record. 69 sums to 139, the 34th prime. Those would be some numbers for the Timberwolves to win this game. If they were to lose this game, we might look at the number 105 again for the third game in a row. Kind of similar to potentially what could happen to the Wizards. Potentially what could happen to the Clippers. If the Spurs win this game, they could become 5 and 10 for a season record, as Timberwolves become 5 and 10 for a season record with a loss. 510 is just an anagram of 105, 105 date numerology on the Hebrew Religious. It will be the 14th day of the 9th month on the Hebrew Religious, like 149. 149 is the 35th prime number. Timberwolves would sit on 35 all-time head-to-head wins against the Spurs with the loss, as their coach gets his 35th regular season loss for his career, while they become 5-10. 49, 14th day of the 9th month, 149, the 35th prime, 105 date numerology. And then Timberwolves, they would get their 10th loss for the season in their 10th home game, as the Spurs become 1-0 against the Timberwolves for the season, like 10, as the Spurs sit on 10 losses for the season with the win. So a little 10 pattern there if that happens. And I think that's it for both sides on that one. Sixers and the Nuggets. Sixers and the Nuggets. This could be the fourth game in a row that could potentially have a 10-5 for a record. The Nuggets can become 10-5 for a season record with a win on a day with 105 date numerology on the Hebrew Religious. If Sixers lose, they would become 8-8 for a season record, like 88, in their 8th away game to continue on with an 8 pattern. Sixers, this is their coach's 88th regular season game as a coach for Sixers to go with. And the Sixers, this is their 16th game. Today with 16 date numerology on the Gregorian. They can get their 6th loss in a row if they were to lose this game. And the number 6 sums to 16. However, that number could play in the Sixers' favor, the number 16. If the Sixers win this game, if you spell out the number 16, 16 sums to 96, sums to 93. This is the 93rd all-time head-to-head matchup between these two teams. It's the Sixers' 16th game for the season. Nuggets could become 9-6 for a season record with the loss, on a day with 16 date numerology for the Gregorian. The Sixers would become 5-3 on the road for a season record with a win. 5-3, like 53, the 16th prime number. So that could potentially go in favor of the Sixers with the number 16. The Nuggets, they play back-to-back. They play today and tomorrow. So if the Nuggets did lose and become 9-6, tomorrow's their 16th game for the season, and so they can head into their 16th game tomorrow, 9-6 for a record. 16 sums to 96. They would sit on 9 wins in their 9th home game. So that's something I would look towards if you're looking at the Sixers. If not, then it could be the 4th game to go 10-5. And then you throw in the 8-8 in their 8th away game, 88th for the coach, 6 sums to 16. And that 16 pattern goes both ways for both teams. And then the last game of the night, hopefully you guys made it through. Hopefully this made sense. Hopefully it wasn't too boring. Raptors versus the Jazz. Jazz could be the 5th game of the night for a 10-5. So if Jazz win, we have a 10-5. If Nuggets win, we have a 10-5. If Spurs win, we have a 5-10, 5-10. If Clippers win, we have a 10-5. If Wizards lose, we have a 10-5. I guess we'll find out how many teams actually go 5-10, 10-5, if any at all. But if 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 of them do, maybe we point to that it being 105 date numerology on the Hebrew religious side of the calendar could be a reason. And then it's the 50th all-time head-to-head matchup between these two teams on a day with 50 date numerology on the Gregorian. 50 sums to 30. And the Jazz can get their 30th all-time head-to-head win against the Raptors, as the Raptors become 7-9, like 79 for a season record, with the loss today with 70 date numerology, 70 sums to 79. And then the Raptors coach, he would get his 97th regular season loss as a coach for his career. 79 and 97 are just reflections of each other. And they both, 79 sums to 152, 145, 97. They're both identical in all 4 base ciphers as well as reflections of each other. Emphasis on the 145 part for both of them. And the Raptors coach can become 145, 97 regular season as they become 7-9 for a season record with the loss. Either one of these teams will become 5-3. If Jazz lose, they become 5-3 at home. If Raptors lose, they become 5-3 on the road. 53 is the 16th prime number, and today has 16 date numerology on the Gregorian. And it's also the 16th game of the season for the Raptors. Then this number can actually play in favor for the Raptors if they were to win this game. 16 sums to 96, and in their 16th game for the season, their coach can sit on 96 regular season losses for his career with a win, as the Jazz become 9-6 for a season record with the loss, and then 5-3 at home to go with 53, the 16th prime number. It will be the 73rd day of the Hebrew civil calendar. 73 is the 21st prime number. Raptors could pick up their 21st all-time head-to-head win against the Jazz. They would sit on 29 losses all-time with the win. 29, the 10th prime. Raptors become 1-0 against Jazz like 10. 70 date numerology, 70 sums to 29. And so that would be some numbers for the Raptors. 8th home game, 8th away game. Raptors can become 8-8, like 88 for a season record with the win. Well, hopefully this helps you guys. Hopefully this gives you some insight on these 6 games. Hopefully I didn't go too fast. Hopefully I didn't mumble or stumble my words too much. Hopefully it made sense. Again, these are just quick highlights. I definitely advise maybe adding some more information on top of it, but this should be enough to get you guys started and get you going for the games on Thursday. Definitely add any notes below, and I appreciate you guys watching. I appreciate the support. Thank you.